Okay, well, let's get started. We're going to be talking about how to get your business systems in order. Let me just flip to the other screen. This is how most people want to feel about being organized. And honestly, this is how most people actually feel about systems and organization and how you run your business, right? So one of the things that I have been working with agents for, I don't even know how long, since about 2007, long time. I've been in IT for a really long time, but what I've discovered about your specific industry is that whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a grad from anywhere, nobody teaches you how to run a business. And real estate is no different. They say, okay, here's your license, be off with you. And then you got to figure out how you go and interview brokerages, how you actually run a business, and nobody teaches you that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And if you have any questions, again, please ask in the chat. Okay. All right, now let's get started. Number one thing that we see with agents is they, maybe secretly or maybe not so secretly, I know a lot of people, their stuff's scattered all over the place and they feel really frustrated and they are getting angry because none of their stuff syncs and integrates and they can't find anything. And that just increases stress. That's what I hear all the time, is about how all this technology and systems and software and devices and computers, it just gets people stressed out, and it doesn't really have to be that way. And we see a lot of times that agents are working too hard, in their business, not on their business, or maybe on their business, not in their business. And we want to change that. Okay. So one of the things too that we see is agents always trying to find new clients. Now, this is a big one, you guys. I see this so frequently. Okay. Here's the thing. What I've seen is agents sometimes been in the business for 5, 10, 15, 20. My oldest client was a husband and wife couple, and I think they're probably 55 years in the business now. And they never kept in touch with any of their past clients. There was millions and millions and millions, if not billions of dollars in lost revenue, but always searching for new clients. If you've been around for 5, 10 years, how are you keeping in touch with your past clients? Like, should you even be trying to get new clients if you haven't got this figured out with old clients, right? We also find, again, I just said that neglecting your actual clients. And in the beginning, when I was working with agents, I actually thought it was just that agent, that agent. Now I'm surprised if someone says, yes, I do communicate with my past, current, and future clients because they have the systems in place. Most of the times they don't, right? And that's your gold mine. Are you frustrated because a past client used somebody else? Because maybe you're losing out on deals because of lack of systems and you don't know how to fix them, right? If you piecemealed your business together. And here's another thing that I am really, I believe very strongly about this, is that you should own your own data. And I'm going to delve into that a little bit more, a little bit later, but I see this all the time, is an agent uses a brokerage CRM and a brokerage email. And I'm telling you, do not do it. Okay. And again, Ray, you're monitoring the questions. So you just pipe up whenever you want me to answer a question. I'm trying to monitor everything, but sometimes it's hard when I get into talking, and I love sharing all the things that we've learned about agents and their businesses over the last, few decades. So what we see a lot of the times is that do you feel like technology, systems, apps, updating devices, computers, right? That they're the enemy of your business instead of an asset? And are you terrified you're just never going to get it right? Like, never be set up properly. You hate the way that you're set up. And if this sounds like you, does it sound like anybody so far? Right? If this sounds like you, yeah, come on, fess up in there, fess up in the chat. You are in the right place. There you go, Chris. Chris raised his hands. Good job. Yes. Okay. So my goal today, in the next hour, roughly 50 minutes, an hour, we want you to finally kiss goodbye to all that stress and headache that actually is required to run your business. We want you to have a streamlined business where you'll save time. We want you to save a ton of time. And then, of course, how you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, especially if you've been an agent for a long time, right? With proper systems in place, without having to knock on doors, blog, tweet, post, buy leads, run ads, pay for expensive lead gen sites, or do any of that stuff that maybe you don't like to do, or maybe you don't even know how to do. And how to do all of this without having to hire a whole IT department, a marketing department, an assistant, although assistants are amazing if you get the right ones, or really any of those things, again, that you don't want to do. Okay. Now, this is what your business could look like. Streamlined, efficient, synchronized, all integrated, and you update once and it updates everywhere, including in a CRM if set up properly, not scattered all over the place. And if this is done properly, and maybe you want to slow down or retire, you can then easily hand off your complete, I get that, right? Complete database and keep getting referrals. Like, what a great way to run a business. All right. Okay. So here's what I've discovered. Like, if that sounds like you, right, then I do kind of have some good news. None of these things are the real problem. They're symptoms of a problem. The real problem about being organized is that your foundation is either cracked or completely broken. Do you like that real estate reference? Right? So we're going to talk about the 4 steps, proper business system setup. And everything I talk about, I want you to know that everything is fixable. But I know some of you guys don't know me as well as I would like you to know me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and why I'm here. Very short. I've created the world's only technology program for real estate agents in the world. Everybody else does sales coaching, though of course there's some sales, how we help agents, but most of it is streamlining your business. I have worked with thousands of top producing agents across North America, and I specialize in helping agents leverage their business systems to save time and money. And it's funny that I also was on TV for 3 seasons teaching tech tips. I loved doing that, but most people have never seen me on TV because they don't watch those type of shows, right? So I was on TV, loved doing that. So how do you know, how do I know your market and your jargon and your lingo and the issues that real estate agents have? Well, who knows this guy, right? I know a lot of you guys in British Columbia would know this guy. That is my husband. He is an agent. And if you've not taken any of his courses through any of the other platforms like CREA or BCREA or Real Estate Board, he does know your product, house systems, house structures, and leveraging the data import form. He's an awesome guy. But what happened when Terry became an agent is that I was like, okay, so how are you running your business? He says, well, just how everyone tells me what to do. And I'm like, okay, whatever. They must know whoever is telling him, whoever, if you guys can see me, that's in quotations. So I don't know, he was probably 6 months in and he kept coming back to the home office to get files and folders. And he kept doing things when I was around him, like, why are you having to go back to get a file? Let's set you up properly. Why are you using a Yahoo email to run your business? He says, well, I don't know. I didn't know any different. Why are you driving back? He didn't know how to set it up properly. And I said, well, how are you going to keep in touch with your clients once you get them, right? He says, I think I'll remember. Like, there's no way you're going to remember 1 or 2 deals in the beginning. Yeah. After that, forget about it. Right. And then he was also looking at spending, I think it was $10,000 back in the day on a website with lead gen. And I was like, well, hold on, wait, why don't we just get your business set up first and then worry about that if you really want to do it later, to see if you actually need to spend all that kind of money, right? And he was keeping track of his clients on a spreadsheet, which I know many of you probably have done that as well, right? Because he didn't know any different. So quite frankly, I didn't like his answers to any of his stuff. And so I sat and I started researching how he should be set up, what CRMs agent use, what people recommend for them, which is usually wrong. By the time I got around to like looking at how CRMs integrate, I'm looking at things way different than you because my background is information technology. I'm looking at how do things sync and integrate and not, asking people, what do you think about this CRM? Because I would never do that because who knows if they even use it, right? And how they're set up. Now, one of the things when I was helping Terry, I had no inclination or desire to help real estate agents only. I was doing something else to do with a similar thing, but within other industry. But what I found is he said, can you just help my friend? He's been in the business for 30 years and he really needs help. And so I was like, oh, I don't really want to, but I will. So I looked at him and he had the same problems Terry did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not a Terry problem. It's actually an industry one. So as this went on, I found it is an industry one that nobody knows how to set up their business. And you're kind of just flailing around by the seat of your pants, trying to be a real estate agent, right? So my goal is to fix all that. All right. So here are the steps I'm going to cover today. We're going to talk about domains. We're going to talk email, cloud storage, and CRM. And I have to tell you guys that's in this specific order that things have to be fixed as well. You can't, you can, but it won't be efficient. You can go look at a CRM and use it, but it's standalone if all this other stuff isn't set up properly. And it could still be standalone because they don't pay to have a proper integrated CRM. I'm going to explain that a little bit more later. So hopefully you'll understand all that a little bit later. Okay. All right. So I am upfront always about everything. And I'm going to tell you, please do not ask me, where do I buy a domain name? What domain name should I buy? What cloud storage should I be using? Where do I go to get an email address? What is the best CRM? I know you're dying to know. This is high level about why things don't work and things that you need to consider. Now, of course, we will give you an opportunity at the end. You can book a complimentary chat so we can see if we can help you. But really, we don't talk specific software today. And there's a reason for that. And I've been doing this for such a long time. I'll tell you, before I would say, oh, do this. And then you'd go do that something, whatever I said at a conference or here, but you didn't do it completely. So then nothing else worked properly. So I don't even like telling people anything except understanding how it should be set up on a high level. Okay. And the reason is, and if we look at the car analogy, is if you ask me what kind of car should I get, should I just say, go get a Toyota? I don't know, or a Lamborghini, because that's what I like. It's a funny reference because I don't even like cars, but Terry's the king of analogies. And he's like, oh, use a car reference because everybody gets it. It's true. So here's the thing. It's like your business systems, right? If I actually was good at what I did and I was a car salesperson, I would say, okay, well, what's your budget? What's your wants? What's your needs? Do you have children? How far do you drive? Do you need to use it for business? Oh, do you already have a car? And probably 20 more questions before I can actually say, you know what, this car might be good for you. It is the same with business systems. I absolutely hate it when agents say, and I get why you do it, I just personally hate it. Hey, what CRM should I use? Well, the people giving you the answer have no idea what you've tried, what you've done, how you're set up. They're just saying you should have a Toyota because maybe they like it, right? That doesn't mean it meets your specific needs or that they're even set up properly, okay? So let's get started about getting organized. And the first step is, ta-da, domains. And I'm trying this new software. Gosh, I think it will work. So how it works, you guys are my very first people presenting to that I am using this with. So I hope this works. So you just take your phone, you open up the camera portion or the QR code portion, however your phone works, and you're going to actually answer this question. So do you have a website? And what that means is how this is structured is, do you have a website like the first one is darcilarocque.com? Or do you have a website that is more of a general, like propertiesforyou.com or okanaganvalley.homes, or are you using your brokerage website? So we'll give you guys a couple minutes just to see where we're at here is your name. Okay, your name. I don't have a website. So far, yeah, I got a little bit more. Oh, this is kind of cool software, isn't it? I like it. Okay, so let me just see. So about 10%, 9% people don't have a website. About 18. Oh, it's higher now. Oh, you guys, look at that. People are still doing this, so this is awesome. So let me explain a little bit as I'm talking, because this is, as the stats are coming in, this is really typical. All right. And the typical part of it is what I see is people actually using their own name in a website, which I don't recommend. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, but most of you guys do that more than right now, about 53%. A more general one and the brokerage one, I do not recommend. And in the sense, what I mean by that is it's okay to have a brokerage profile if you don't want to spend the money on a website of your own. You can redirect your domain to it. But you also want to make sure that that brokerage profile, if somebody goes and logs on and uses your profile and they want to contact you, is it contacting you or is it contacting the brokerage? Because you don't want to lose business, right? You don't want to lose business. So let me just see what I have, both my own as well as my brokerage. Yes, exactly. But I guess how I should have rephrased that, Clara, is what's on your business card? What is the one you give out? Okay. Because a lot of brokerages give you a page, and they should, on the brokerage profile. Okay. Okay, let's see. So again, most people have your name. Some have a more general website, which is what I recommend. If you don't have a website, I really think it is a good idea to actually have one. Let me get back here. Sorry. So let me talk about why I'm talking about this. Okay. So should you have your name in the domain, like joesmith.com or this one here, which if you are trying to read that, could you actually read it if you didn't know? Is it Besta Gent Elton, Besta Gentleton? Like, we don't know what that is. And I'm going to give you a tip on what you should do on all marketing materials in a minute. But you look at this, and joesmith.com could be anyone. Best Agent Elton is what it says, but that really could be, it's all about Elton. It's all about Joe. Or should it be more general, like propertiesforyou.com or okanaganvalley.homes, which is more general? And what I tell agents is, I know what you're told in the beginning, just so you get a website and they say, get your name, but come on, DarciLaRocque.com. No one can spell Darcy. No one can spell LaRocque. And then if I want to sell my business, isn't Agent Tech Mastery a lot easier to sell? Right? So if you think about it, it's the same in your business. Propertiesforyou.com is way easier to sell later on, or even give your database over to somebody else that doesn't have your name in it. I don't want to be Darcy@joesmith.com or Darcy@BestAgentElton if I start working with them, but I could be Darcy@propertiesforyou or Darcy@okanaganvalley.homes. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes, I hope so. Okay, let me just see here. Yes, no, yeah. So I get, you can probably read Richard's about, yes, branding. I get branding. Branding is fine. And you brand for your brokerage everywhere else anyhow, really, right? It really, really, like you would have your Roll a Page or Remax or Century 21, you'd have it on the footer, you'd have it on your business card, you'd have it on the marketing materials. But if you ever leave the brokerage, anything on your business card, and that's what the clients have, they're not going to forward it to your new brokerage. I guarantee that. Okay, so please, please, please be careful with that. Now, let me show you the best marketing. Oh, actually, sorry. Another thing that I was going to talk about is if you wanted to build a team, right? Would I want to be Darcy at Joe Smith? I kind of talked about that. What if I want to retire? Would I want to be Darcy at Joe Smith? No, I'd want to be Darcy at propertiesforyou.com and take over your database, right? And there's ways to do that if it's set up properly. Now I'm going to give you the best marketing tip ever. Are you ready? Okay. If we look at these two domain names, what do you see? right? Most people see, I had to find some ones that were PG. There's some really good ones that are not, but American scrap metal, but really it's looks like it's American scrap metal. Right. And another one, chooses pain, which is not what we want. And so we don't want people to try and figure out what the heck your website means, right? And even if you are going to stick with your darn name, which I don't recommend you should do, you should still do this. You cap the first letter of each word on marketing materials, your business card, your flyers, anything that people can visually see. That's what you want to put. Okay. It's a good tip, right? I'm always really proud when I see people all over the place. I've been preaching this probably 20 years, maybe more actually. Okay. So this is, if I was propertiesforyou.com, this would be my business card. And this is what it would look like, right? So capital P, capital F, capital Y, capital D, capital P, F, and Y. Okay, so don't make people try and figure out what the heck, right? Your domain name is. Make it easy for them. Okay. Okay, so we talked very briefly about domains. So this is, I'm going to talk about propertiesforyou.com. It's not available. It's not mine. It's just one I think makes sense to people. So it looks legit, right? So if my name is Darci and I have an email address, Darci@propertiesforyou, everybody knows after the @ that that's the person's website. So if you have a domain and it doesn't direct somewhere, I guarantee you've lost business. And this is this kind of stuff we help agents with, all the things that you are kind of loops and missing things that you haven't considered. Okay. Don't ignore emails from the company you bought your domain from. If you do not renew it, it goes back out into the internet and then someone else can buy that domain. I've seen this happen many times where people ignore the emails from whoever, GoDaddy or Bluehost, whoever you bought your domain from, because everything will stop working if you do not keep paying for the domain name. All right, makes sense? Okay, so for example here, the next thing we're going to talk about is email. And this is really the one thing that I know people don't really understand. So I'm going to hopefully at least get your understanding of email and contacts and devices, because they all talk to each other via email addresses. Understand how important this is if it's set up properly and how it can be. I get so excited about this. I'm not kidding you. I love talking email, because you're going to learn a lot of things about how email works today. Okay, so does your email address really matter? Now, these are, I don't know how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12 of common ones. There's a gazillion other types of email addresses you can use that are free, but Shaw, TELUS, Bell, Rogers, AOL, Gmail, Hotmail, whatever it might be. So let's see how you guys are set up, and you can scroll down when you do the little slide, take a little picture again. So how you run your business. I don't really care about all your emails, but what email address are you using to run your business? Are you using a Gmail? Are you using a internet provided email, Yahoo, iCloud, a live one? What else do we have? The Brokerage one. And even though I said don't use Brokerage, let me know if you do, because I really want to, I mean, I can't tell who's clicking on what, so it's irrelevant. Could be Yahoo. You scroll down, there's Outlook and Hotmail or something else, MSN, AOL, Live, iCloud. There's just a whole bunch of different types of emails that people use to run their business. And I want to explain, once we're done here, why you're having problems, because a lot of it does equate to emails. And let's just see. Okay, so let's go back. I am completely shocked that there's no internet provider people or Apple people. I think you just probably don't know whether you're using it, and you might be using it. So one of the things, see, we're split about what I thought. Okay, so when you pay, because you're not paying, when you get a free email address, Why do you think they offer free email addresses? Okay, again, you're running a business, but why do you think they even offer them? Anybody have any good ideas about why? So they offer it free because they will spam you. They sell it to advertisers, and it's a very small amount of space. And so when they ask you to upgrade, you're upgrading, but you're still not getting the full shebang for an email address. Okay. And it could be loyalty to them as well, but try and get help. There is no support for free emails. Okay. And you're running a business. You should not be running a business off an @Gmail, a brokerage email as well, because again, think about the brokerage email. You give the brokerage email out for 10 years to your clients, and then you decide to leave. What happens? Again, they're not going to forward it to your new brokerage. I guarantee it, right? You should be using your properly configured business email. Now, the people who said that they use your own domain, like I would be, Darci at Agent Tech Mastery, or Terry at okanaganvalley.homes. It has to be set up. The email address has to be set up properly, or none of the other stuff will sync and integrate. Okay. So though you might use it, if you're forwarding it to your Gmail email, Gmail is the one you're using. So you could have it set up like Darci at propertiesforyou.com, but I'm forwarding that to my Yahoo account. That is not having it set up properly. That's just a forwarding email. That has nothing to do with having a properly configured business email. All right, we're going on to the next slide. Okay, I always like to look at this kind of in a different aspect, because when you're in your own business, maybe you don't think about how other people perceive you. So let's pretend we have to hire a lawyer for something, and we go interview two, and we love them both. They're both super nice. And then they hand us their marketing materials. And this guy is, come on, Joe the Best Lawyer, 1973 at yahoo.com. And the gal is Jenny at smithlaw.com. Who would you hire? Come on, you guys, use that chat. Who would you hire? Yeah, everybody. And I don't know why in your industry, I've seen people post this on forums saying, this is my email address. It doesn't matter, right? And every thousands of agents say, no, who cares? It matters. I can't even tell you how much it matters. So Joe the Best Lawyer, 1973, number one, do not have your year of birth in your email address. Now, if you do, we can help you figure out a way to actually set it up properly so you don't lose or miss out on anything. But you should not be giving this out for discrimination, of age discrimination. Either they might think you're too young or too old, depends on the year, I guess, and the person. And fraud. Oh my goodness, that is so bad. So now they know you're an agent. Now they know your year of birth. I always chuckle when I people email me with their year of birth in their email. It's very, 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 very bad. Okay. And plus, that does not look professional, right? Is he even really a lawyer? We don't know. Does not look professional. And I'm going to tell you, it's not just, I totally believe everything that says here, but it says there was a study done, and it said anybody who uses one of those free email address look extremely unprofessional. That's not what you're trying to do. Inconsistent in your branding. Who are you marketing for? At Gmail, at Yahoo, at whatever, or you're marketing for yourself. You appear less confident and trustworthy, and you don't look legitimate, right? 90% of free email addresses will never sync and integrate properly either. And I'm going to show you that in a little bit, and so you'll understand why. But even if that, it's just all this other stuff is that you look so unprofessional. Like you just use your email from when you graduated from high school, university. I don't know. It's been around for a long time now. 75% of consumers say an email address matching your domain. Now I have to add, and set up properly, because I see like 90% of the agents I look at, they're not set up properly. You're one step better than the people who use that Gmail, but if you're actually forwarding it to your Gmail or your Yahoo, that's what the clients are seeing, right? So it's critical to trust and professionalism, okay? Yes, Steve, I am not impressed when realtors email from Gmail, Hotmail. It seems so temporary. Yeah, I agree. Fly by the seat of your pants, in and out maybe, and unprofessional. Exactly. But I can't, so many agents use them. And I think it's because you don't know how to set up your business, because how could you possibly know all the stuff I'm going to show you? Okay. So here's the thing that happens with free email addresses. Okay, free email, they don't cost you money, but they are not free in the sense of you're losing clients, maybe professionalism. We'll see. Free email addresses are not meant for business use. That is not their purpose. They're for my mom to use, or a university student, or someone in high school, right? They are not a business used email, okay? You can't control spam. Your free email address does get mistaken for spam. You cannot get help and support. They have a small server size. So if you're forever trying to delete emails because you're over limit, that's a problem because you're using a free service. You will get advertised to death, and they collect your data. Okay.
Darci, I have a question.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, it's pretty long. I've had a .2 website for 18 years. They're no longer hosting individual websites, so I'm getting a new website. I'd like to give it a new name, but how do I do that without losing all the customers that are familiar with the old email address and website?
So we'd have to look at that, because, so again, remember when I said that I can't just throw stuff out there when I'm talking to people, because I want to ask way more questions, because you could have had a point, like they own the website, or do you own it? Like, that's important. If it's theirs, maybe we can't do anything. We'd have to see. So there'll be an opportunity to book a chat after, and I'd love to chat with, I don't know who was talking. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat. Murray. Murray. Yeah, book a chat with us at the end, and then we can kind of look at that, because we don't want people, exactly what you're saying, right? We don't want you to lose data ever. Your clients, your data, everything should be yours. You will get a free email address in exchange. They'll display ads and scan your email and decides what ads are relevant to you. If you are set up properly with a proper business email, you're running a business, no longer will any of this stuff apply. Okay. You also can't send large files due to email server limitations. If you've ever had to try and send an email with large attachments, which you really shouldn't anyhow, but that's another point. A lot of times it won't do it because you are on these small mailboxes that don't allow that kind of stuff. Okay. So what else happens with a free email address? I'm going to talk about that. Okay. All right. What I see a lot of times is people forward their email to some other email. Now, an issue with forwarding is it can delay up to 30 minutes. And honestly, in most industries, who cares? When we're in a market where it's crazy, you don't want to wait 30 minutes, right? Time is money. So we don't want to wait, and we don't want to. Forwarding is interesting. There's not anything bad with forwarding except sometimes the delay. Okay, so really, really important to understand that. And what I see agents do, I mentioned this a little earlier. Let's say there's John at johndell.com, and that's what he's put on his business cards. But when he actually sends an email to his clients, it might be something like jdc1978 at aol.com. Well, that's not good. Is it? They didn't put that email address in their contacts. Is it going to end up in spam? Right? Let me just see. There's another question. You mean we can ditch Outlook? I don't think I said that, but when we talk to agents, that's one of the questions we ask. One of the things about when I'm just going to read Clara's comment again. You mean we can ditch Outlook? Here's the thing that confuses most people is Microsoft uses the same term for different things, and it's so confusing. So I do not ever recommend agents keep Outlook desktop software. Okay, there's many problems. I could probably talk an hour about the reasons why you shouldn't. But then there's also Microsoft products you buy, and that's different as well. There's like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, as well as Outlook desktop software. And then you can buy it under the like GoDaddy or Bluehost, or you can buy things direct. And we need to know all this, like, how did you set up your stuff? Because it's important and you'll understand later why it's so important. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Does your email end up in spam? Now, here's the thing about spam, right? If you are using the free email addresses, they're not known to be a real business email on the world of the internet. So they're more likely to end up in spam. Here's another thing is that if you've set up, oh, let me just see, I switched the slide. Oh, good, I've got it here. Role-based emails and free email addresses. Role-based emails. Now, what a role-based email is let's say you set up, you have a website like agenttechmastery.com, I'll just use that. And then I'm using info@agenttechmastery.com. Info@ is what we call a role-based email. That means in the eyes of the internet, it doesn't belong to a person. So you can't sign up for newsletters, you can't do certain things with role-based emails. And sometimes role-based emails end up in spam. Okay, so does that make sense? Like, that's really important not to use role-based emails. When we talk to you, that's what we ask that kind of stuff too. And when and if you ever work with us, we actually say, well, if you have info@ for no extra cost on a proper business email, we'll make sure that that info@ actually gets to Darci at Agent Tech Mastery. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I think, let me just, here's the, I know, whoops, I went way too fast there. Now, I know you broker owners aren't liking what I say about this, but I still firmly believe in that and this, and I've talked to so many agents that once they understand how important this is, not to use a brokerage email. I actually wish they didn't even give them to you, to be honest. I get why they do, because it's in their best interest, but it is not in the agent's best interest to use a brokerage email. And I see it all the time because, you know, if you're with the same brokerage forever, it's not going to matter. But that is not how life works. Okay, it is not. And so wouldn't it be best if you're around for 20 years and you're giving out, you know, your name at yourdomain.com rather than the brokerage email? So if you ever leave, you don't even have to tell your clients. Now you should, because what a great way to communicate with them again if you haven't been communicating. But does that make sense? Don't use a brokerage email because we don't want the clients to have that. Who owns your data? You need to own your data. Okay, that means your email and your own CRM. Okay, makes sense? Okay, now one of the things too with an email address, and again, different brokerages, some brokerages actually have fully paid business email addresses on their brokerage email, and some are just forwarders. So there is a big difference there. One is not a paid account and one are paid accounts. But if someone's paying for something, who owns the data? They do. As soon as you leave, they're going to say, oh, we don't want their email anymore. So when their client emails them, it'll bounce back, or worse, they kept it and it forwards to some other agent to communicate with your client. Have I scared everybody? Because I kind of hope I am. You can't see me. I'm laughing, but I'm kind of hoping you get this. Like, please, 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 please don't use a brokerage email address. Okay, let's keep going. If you're using an email that's tied to your internet service provider, bad. Okay, here's another problem with that. So there's lots of different email or wireless service providers in your area, right? And where I am at Shaw or TELUS, other places is Bell, it could be AOL, it could be many Coxnet, it could be many different internet service providers. But here's the problem. They don't specialize in email. You're marketing for them, not you, right? And they also have very small email boxes. You have to keep deleting email out of there. Really bad, because what if you actually should be keeping your email? What are the laws in your area? Should you keep stuff for 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, and you keep deleting important stuff because you don't have enough room? How is that a good way to run your business? Then what about if you move areas, right? And they don't service that area. Well, now you're screwed too, because now what are you going to do? Right? We look at all this stuff when we help agents, like say, okay, who's your wireless internet provider? Have you been giving that out? Let's figure out what we can do with that email so you don't lose out on anything. But from now on, let's start using a properly configured business email. Okay. Any questions on that? I don't see any. Okay. Okay. Again, I can't stress enough, if you are that person who has to keep deleting messages because your mailbox is full, you're on the wrong platform. How frustrating too, and what a waste of your valuable time. If you update your CRM contacts and it doesn't also update your phone, Outlook, if you're using Outlook on your computer, which I don't like, but Mac Mail or your computer contacts, you're not set up properly. That's free email impacts this. Okay. All right. More stuff about free email. If you read an email on one platform and it shows unread on the other platform, that is free email addresses. If you move an email to a folder, it doesn't move elsewhere or you can't find it, that is free email problems. If you piecemealed all your software and try and get it to talk, but it doesn't, guess what? Free email is usually the stem and root of all causes of issues from this, okay? And here's the thing that most people don't understand. I am not saying, I'm going to talk about Apple for a moment. I'm not saying it's bad. Apple is not bad. It's your lack of understanding of when you set up your device and the configuration of your device. So what happens is Apple takes over your email and contacts and calendar. And we fix this all day, every day. It's a totally fixable thing. But so when you add something to your iPhone or your iPad, then you go to your computer and you're like, I just added it. Where is it? Yeah, because it's not synced and configured properly. Everything is sitting with Apple's iCloud. Okay. And that's really frustrating for people because they're like, I know it syncs on here, my phone and my iPad, but my Windows computer, I don't know where I just added that contact and it's not there. It has to be configured properly. Okay. Okay. So this all causes you a lot of lost time and dollars. And I think the worst part is probably the stress, right? So what if your system simply just worked for you? And why does all this email stuff matters? Now, are you guys interested in more about email? I love talking email. I really do, because I've been doing email servers, how things integrate with wireless devices when they came along, which is way, way after email servers were working, right? So I know how email flows with all devices, everything. Okay, so it's super important to understand the issue. So let's keep going. So here's what happens with old free email addresses, right? So most of you guys are set up either in the POP way or the IMAP way. That makes sense? Okay, so what that means, because free email addresses, that's how they're generally set up. So what's that mean is that it doesn't do a sync of email. So it's a one-way download. If I look at my phone, it's not going to look the same on anywhere else I'm looking at that email. Okay, emails that come in. It won't sync folders, email folders. It will not sync contacts. It won't sync calendar. It will never integrate with the CRM properly. And it probably doesn't come with storage. All right. Now, in 1986, long time ago, hey, you guys, long time ago, I can remember when this came out because I was like so excited, geeky excited because, oh my God, this is life-changing. Okay. This is what happened when IMAP came out. Now, if I opened up an email on my phone, it would show open everywhere else because now they kind of talk to each other, right? And if I moved an email on my computer to a folder in my email folder structure, it would show that on my phone as well. Again, if configured properly. But guess what? Nothing else syncs and integrates. So does this sound like you guys, that's the email addresses that you're using, that things aren't syncing and integrated across platforms because you're using a free email service? Okay. Now, in 2006, which is still a long time ago, right? Long time ago. This is what happened. And when this happened, This was unbelievable to me. I remember being so thrilled, like, this can't be correct, because, and it is correct, but this was incredible that every single thing can sync and integrate if set up properly on a proper business email server without spending money for a network server. I'm sure some of you guys have been around long enough that you probably have paid for IT support, and you might have a network server at home or your office costing you tens of thousands of dollars or more. And then, having to have IT staff to manage it. What is truly incredible in 2006, that we can run our business like a big corporation for a fraction of a cost, like a fraction. Isn't that exciting? So can you see the part of the issue that you're having and how this impacts your life daily, and you're pulling your hair out and it's frustrating, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. So I want you to really understand this. Are you ready? Most agents that I have worked with over the last decade or so, it's been longer than a decade, but I'm not going to go there. that they have about 5 email addresses. So what does that mean to your confusion? Okay, every email address, are you ready? Every single email address has this attached to it. Email, obviously, possibly email folders if you create them, contacts, calendars, and possibly cloud storage, right? So tell me, when you've got 5 different places to look for your stuff, how confusing is that? It's confusing because, like, maybe Hotmail's just on your phone and not configured properly, and you added a contact to the Hotmail. Then you go onto your computer, but you didn't mean to save it to Hotmail. You meant to save it somewhere else. Now you got to copy and paste. You got to remember to put it in your CRM. It's very confusing, right? So imagine this scenario: 5 email addresses, 5 features attached to it. That's 25 things to manage. And some of you guys have like 10 email addresses. So no wonder it's confusing. Then the other issue that we see is that then with that Outlook desktop software, sometimes that's not, most of the time, you guys, that's not configured properly. So it sits standalone only on that Outlook desktop software, or standalone only on your Mac, or standalone only on your phone. It's tough, right? It's tough. Let me see. Steve, it's tough enough now with folks sending SMS, Facebook Messenger, Instagram messages. I know. At least with Facebook, with Meta, they now have one group spot to see Instagram and Facebook messengers, but yeah, SMS is not integrated, unfortunately. Okay. Let's keep going on. So I know you guys are still wondering, even though I told you I'm not going to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you because we need to know more about you. But I always add this slide because I've been talking about this for decades and decades about email. At least 15 years to real estate agents, and probably 30 years to the general public about how things should work. Okay. I don't want you to go, oh my gosh, I think I'm just going to go get another business email, like she's saying, my name at yourdomain.com, because you will set it up properly, and then by the time we talk, we're going to have to backtrack. So don't create an email address from your registrar like GoDaddy or Bluehost or something like that. We never recommend that. Don't mask your email address to forward to something else. It's very confusing. If you don't understand any of this, which most of you guys probably are like, what is she talking about? My head's going to explode. Oh my goodness, this is so confusing, right? I'm going to give you an opportunity to book a chat with me. We actually opened up the next few days, so hopefully we get to talk in the next few days, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. So again, ask questions while I'm here. I'd love asking your questions. All questions are smart, you guys. There's no stupid questions ever. All right. So let's continue on. Number 1, I talked about domains. So buying a domain I like a generic-y domain. So if I move to the US or to Europe, I could still use Properties for You, right? Because it's so general. Now that's very general, but how to set up a domain or what to do. You need to set up a domain. And then you should have a properly configured business email. Please book a chat with us because people do this wrong. And it's so frustrating because your IT people say, oh no, go do it here. They're wrong most of the time. Okay. Really, 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 really important because these two things have to be set up properly in order for everything to sync. Okay. And now I'm going to talk about cloud storage because cloud storage is attached to email. Everything's attached to email. All your logons to everything attached to email, right? Email's not going away, my friends. All right. One more thing from Slido. I kind of like this new polling thing. It's kind of cool. Take a little screenshot and tell me what cloud storage you use. And if you use more than one, just say a bit of everything. If you just use one, just tap on the one that you use. There you go, a bit of everything. Yeah, that's usually what we find, and it's all fixable. Let me just go back to the messages while you guys are filling out the Slido. If my domains are at GoDaddy, where should my email host be? Book a call, David. Not with GoDaddy. Okay. And don't try and fix it yourself because we don't want anything mucked up. Okay. I hate it when people, this is literally why I don't say do anything, because people take certain things that I say verbatim. Well, it's more, I can't expand on, okay, in GoDaddy, you go here, here, and here, and this is where you see if your email set, like, I don't know how you're set up. So GoDaddy should not be hosting your email. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. So a bit of everything is about, you know what, this is kind of, usually we have a few people saying they can't find any of their stuff, but a lot of times when we talk to agents, it's a bit of everything, right? And what that means is that, you know, if you're Apple, if you're a Mac, you have iCloud Drive by automatically. If you're a Windows user, you have OneDrive automatically. And then the two big ones that are out there are also Dropbox and Google Drive. So what we find happens is that if you're a Mac user, you'll have iCloud, Dropbox, and Google Drive. If you're a Windows user, you'll have OneDrive, Dropbox, and Google Drive. And then you'll be so confused where you save your stuff that you don't know where your stuff is. When we work with agents, what we want is that if you save something on your computer right now, and if I save something on my computer right now, I can pick up my phone and I can see that file. That's how you should be set up so that all your stuff is saved and backed up and accessible everywhere on any computer, as long as you log on with your ID and good credentials, good complex password. Please use, this is kind of an aside, please use complex passwords. You know, the guys are getting so smart now, like they can scan your email or scan your logons and try and figure out your email, especially year of birth. Okay. Please, please, please have a complex, very, very complex password for all your very important things. Okay. Okay. iCloud, Dropbox, OneDrive, all of these are similar products from different vendors, really. They're where your files and your documents, both business and personal, should be. Okay. Many agents just leave your files and folders sitting somewhere on your computer, no backup, not in a cloud storage. And so if you're worried if your computer dies right now, where's your stuff, right? Is it gone? Like, that is not good. So one of the things that we see all the time is that agents think that because Joe uses Dropbox that you have to too. You do not. Okay, you do not have to use the same cloud storage software that the other agent uses. Now, the only time I contradict myself on that is sometimes with brokerages or teams, they might use Dropbox for team sharing, but maybe if you're using OneDrive, no problem. You use the Dropbox for team sharing and everything else that you own is in OneDrive. Okay, so if anything ever happens, that you control your data. It's your data on your computer that's syncing and accessible on everywhere else. Okay. We also see people just because they're confused. And we're going to unconfuse you, hopefully, when we chat, is that they'll leave something in Dropbox and maybe a little bit in iCloud, maybe in Google and maybe in OneDrive, but you still can't find anything, right? And it really is just configuration and not really understanding this. If you can't pull up that important file on your phone and you have to drive back to your home or office to get that file, you're not set up properly. Okay. If you send an individual documents and emails, and this is important, what if you have a folder on your computer that has 20 documents you need to send to the other agent? Do you add all 20 documents as attachment to the email? Do you send multiple emails because they keep getting bounced because it says the mailbox send side is send, easy for me to say, the mailbox send size is exceeded, right? Or do you use a link? And most people don't understand link sharing, and that's what we help with, because what I see over and over and over and over again, people send the wrong links. And then when the other person goes to open the link, they have to request access, and you get confused because you don't know what that email request access. I thought I gave them access already. It's because you don't understand or it's not set up properly. All right. And again, if you use all the free services to save money, you are running a business and it should be set up properly. Okay. What if your computer dies? Do all your files go with it? Right? I want you to really think about this. Like, if your computer dies and it is not recoverable, can you go and get another computer and be up and running and working within a half an hour? I can tell you that all our clients can. All right. This is very bad if you're set up this way. And then this desktop, no judgment, because this is all fixable. But if this is kind of what your desktop looks like, not good. Couple things about this is that every time you log on, when you have a desktop like this, every time you log on, think about this, you guys. You log on and you use a profile to log on your computer, and it's bringing up, if in this example, this is obviously from Spain or somewhere, I don't know what this, I just stole it off the internet, but every one of these folders is having to come up too. And so imagine that if these folders are huge, this is slowing down your computer because you're having to pull this up every time you log on, right? Does that make sense? So this is bad, all fixable. And we teach agents how to make it more organized and efficient, your desktop. And if your computer dies, that nothing is lost. But if all your stuff is here, right? Your business stuff, your personal photos, your files, what happens when it dies? We don't want you to feel like this guy, right? Because computers die. And yes, Macs die too. Okay. Got it? Does that make sense? We're going to go back and look at, with cloud storage, how much time do you waste trying to find your stuff every single week? It's probably tens of hours of lost time because you're disorganized. And what's the value of your time? I see so many agents keep setting up emails incorrectly, and then they go buy another, or not buy, they go get another free email, wasting time, trying multiple CRMs, wasting months and months and months of, it's just so frustrating to see it because it's all so fixable. Okay. All right. Guess what's up next? Okay. We talked about domains. We talked about email addresses. We talked about cloud storage. Now, my last little topic, your favorite, CRM. Okay, I can't see you guys, but I hope someone is chuckling, right? Can't rely on memory. That is not what a CRM stands for, but it should. Okay, CRM is actually client relationship management software. It's a way to build stronger relationships with your contacts, leads, prospects, and existing clients. The best CRM for real estate agents keeps all their contact data in one organized system, not standalone. Right? And it automates your mundane tasks. So you always will remember things about your clients. Now, most agents just throw their money away every single month. That's kind of like a gym membership or where you stay home and watch TV instead, right? CRMs are powerful if they're configured properly, and you can actually integrate with your email, contacts, calendar, and cloud storage, right? The issue is that is not how it normally is. Usually they're standalone, or they're a one-way sync of your data, your contacts. And the best one is, of course, a two-way sync, but 95% of the time your data, which is contacts and calendar, will not sync because you haven't got that number 1, 2, and 3 set up properly. Or You don't have a CRM that actually will ever do a two-way sync because they don't put their money in those resources, which they should, but they don't. Okay. All right. I grabbed this because I wanted you to really understand this. So a two-way synchronization, I don't know how many people would call it a bi-directional sync, but that actually makes more sense, doesn't it? It's all about mirroring the data between business tools. It means all the newly created contacts in one app, so it could be your phone contacts, should be instantly or nearly instantly created in the other one, in your CRM. And all updates of already existing records should be reflected in the records of the other app, right? Two-way synchronization. So this is the problem. I did this visually so you could see it. Usually they are a standalone CRM that does not sync. Okay. Or it can be a one-way sync from your phone or your contact somewhere to the CRM, or it could be the CRM to your phone. Okay. Again, both ways none of these are very efficient. The best way is that you add a contact on your phone, it will update in the CRM, vice versa. You're on your computer, you edit a contact, it goes to both CRM and your phone and your tablet. It doesn't matter because everything is set up to sync and integrate. Okay. It is not a two-way sync when they say, don't worry, just import your contacts to us, or they say we've got a third-party app that will do that. Don't worry. That is not direct. That is a third-party app. Not good. What we want is your business to look like this: streamlined, efficient, synchronized, everything updated everywhere that you touch, including the CRM, not scattered all over the place. And if this is done properly and you want to slow down or retire, right? Talked about this. You have a complete database that have proper labels and everything. Keep getting referrals because you can hand it off. All right. And here's the thing about what you've done with your email addresses or multiple, your contacts, your calendar, your cloud storage, is that everyone has kind of piecemealed their systems together to try and get it to work like this image, but it's not possible unless it's done properly. Okay. Now let's go back to the CRM. Who uses a CRM? Put it in. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. No. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is to understand, by not using a CRM, how much lost revenue you have had, right? Because what I see is people, they try CRMs and they're like, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. Oh, and then that ends up being next year, and then it's years, and then you still aren't using a CRM and you're still losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost revenue because you never took the time to actually use a CRM and configure it. Okay. Now, what I want you to understand now is numbers. I shared the stage with Jared James at a conference, and he used this number. I don't know where he got this number. I actually think it's higher. He said that each person that you work with is $117,000 lifetime value of your client, right? So if you have 20 clients at $117,000, that's a potential of $2.3 million in revenue. Now I know, and I'm not shocked anymore. When I first started working with agents, I was shocked. Now it shocks me if you guys actually do keep in touch, but most of the agents I work with, 10, 20, 30, 40, would I say 55 years in the business? One of my questions is, how do you keep in touch with your past clients? And most agents don't do anything. So if you've been around for any length of time, that's more than 20 people, you're losing a lot of money. And is it worth the time to learn a CRM and start communicating with your gold mine, right? It's so important. I cannot stress this enough, how important a CRM is. Now, using a CRM isn't the only thing. It really is everything. Okay. Now let me recap what I was promised today. I promised to show you about all the stress that can go away and the headaches because of technology, right? That you can save a whack of time and you can make more money with proper systems in place. We covered domains, right? Do you have a domain? Do you have your name in your domain? And that marketing tip, I hope you guys all use my marketing tip. I love that marketing tip. Email addresses, free email addresses are bad, okay? They're pop an email, generally speaking. They will never sync and integrate, and do not use a brokerage email address. When we're looking at cloud storage services, you shouldn't need to use multiple types of cloud storage services, right? You should be able to get that file you need on any computer or device, and personal or business, it doesn't matter, right? And then the CRM side. Don't use a standalone CRM, don't use a brokerage-owned CRM, and no CRM will integrate properly if not set up properly by those first 3 steps: domain, email, cloud storage. Okay, makes sense? Now, what I see is this old way of doing things, just because you don't know, right? No one still uses an old rotary phone. And some of you young folk out there, probably like, rotary phone, Darci, what's that? That's a rotary phone. Okay. Of course you don't use this. You pay $1,000, $2,000 for the latest, greatest phone, right? But you're not paying to upgrade your systems, which will save you time and money. This is such an old, outdated way when you could be running your business like this, right? So what we've done, we can try this again. See, I'm all about scanning now. This is a new-ish. This is something called OVU. Once I really like it, I let everybody know. And you guys probably came to me from my newsletter. I'll let everyone know about if it is really great. But you can take a screenshot of that or go up to your phone and it'll go up to this spot up here and you can say save contact. It'll also show how to book a complimentary review of your systems, register for our next webinars. We've got some CRM checklists and more. If you don't want to do that and you just want to go to agenttechmastery.com/apply, you can just go there and book a chat with us. We did block it off and we just opened up the next 2 or 3 days, I think Ray did. So you should be able to get in fairly soon. So we can review your systems. That's completely free. Okay. We love helping agents. I cannot tell you, like, I see how frustrating it can be being an agent and not really getting how things work. Let me put myself out here again. Hi. Hi, guys. It's so frustrating and it all can be resolved. And I'll tell you, many years ago, why I help agents, I didn't tell you about this before, but the number one reason I help agents is some of the people that Terry was sending to me, and I didn't want to help agents. I was just saying, okay, on the side, I'll kind of help you and set your stuff up. I had a gent go through everything. And by the time I said, you know, add a contact to your phone, look, it's on your computer, look, it's on your work computer, look, it's on your tablet, and look, it's on your CRM. Let's add one to your CRM and look, it's on here. And he started to cry. And the good tears. He was like, I have been working so inefficiently for so long, and I can't believe that you're changing my life. And it was that moment that I went, it's technology, but it's life changing. And he was not the only one in all these years I've been doing this that has cried once all this stuff is finally fixed, right? It's so incredibly powerful. So I do only have a couple days for you to book, but I think you opened it up until Thursday, I think, around some other appointments I had to keep, but you can book it. And let me just, I'm going to stop my share and look at you guys. And if you guys want to ask questions, feel free to ask questions now. If you're too shy about asking questions, then book a chat and we can look at and review your systems. But again, it's so important for us to review your systems. You're going to book a chat. And then what happens is we're going to ask you, I think it's 10 questions. It's very short, but it's just going to ask you, like, you know, how many email addresses do you have? How many CRMs have you used? How many cloud storage? What computers do you have? Like, we're going to ask you a bunch of things we need to know before we make any recommendations on what you should do. And if we can help you. Okay. Ray also put it in the link in the group chat. So feel free, we'll also follow up with you and we'll have the link to also apply as well. But that is completely complimentary and we'll see if you're a good fit for the program we have to help agents. If you're not, no big deal. We'll help you out as best we can on that 30-minute chat. What's the best if you're working 2 states? What's best? Well, again, David, probably book a chat because we do have people who have worked in different states. I always make some suggestions on how it can be. And depending, again, laws are different in different places, but we can talk about how you can do that. We've had several agents that do work in different states. And my husband is one that works in the same, in different cities in the same province. So I can, yeah, show you about what you can do with that. So book a chat. Any other questions, you guys? Okay, then hopefully I get to chat with you. It's been my pleasure to talk to you again. I know I saw a lot of familiar names out there and some new ones. So hope I get to chat with you again. It's agenttechmastery.com/apply. If you forget it, you can always go to our website, agenttechmastery.com, and up above it says complimentary chat, and you can do it that way. There's lots of different ways to get to that apply page. And you are welcome, you guys. Have a fantastic day. And we'll let you know, we do these probably once every 4, 5, 6 months. And I'm not sure, Ray, have we picked what the next one is and when it is? I can't remember.
It's going to be on January.
And did we pick the topic yet?
Not yet. Well,
You know
we'll
what?
announce.
Hey, before you guys all leave, I was thinking of doing a browser, a webinar about the powerful use of a browser. Because what I've discovered with working with agents for many years now, most people really don't understand how a browser works and how powerful it could be to help you with your systems. Would that be something you'd be interested in? Yeah, okay. Stephanie, I'll do it for you. Okay, we'll do a browser one next time we do this for the group, because it's really powerful. It'll save you a ton of time. And again, they're so amazing if you understand how browsers work properly. Okay, awesome. We'll do that next time. Okay, thanks again, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.